All right. Want to say welcome to it. This is Everyday Lessons Now. We're back again as always, and as promised, each and every Monday we bring that nice energy to you. Hope you guys had a beautiful weekend. Want to welcome Dr. Marla, who is always here, most present, never, ever, ever misses a day. I can't say the same for myself, but she doesn't ever miss a day. So we appreciate that. I know how much I appreciate it, and I'm sure you guys appreciate it as well. Welcome.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good. Recovering from all the little miniature festivities that it had over the past couple of weeks, but I'm now getting back to normalcy. But I'm here. Nevertheless, right. I'm here. I hope anybody, wherever you are in the world, because I know things are happening all over the globe. So many things are happening. There are little carnivals popping up here and there, little carnival bubbles here and there, little festivities here and there for the West Indian diaspora, and also in the international world, I know concerts are opening back. I'm seeing a lot of big concert things happening.
Yes.
A lot of artists are going on tour. Again, I see Mary J. Blige is on something. I'm seeing the young artist Hershey has a big cast and a whole lot of stuff. I'm also seeing Kanye is headlining something, and it's huge. Sometime in July, he's doing one of those major festivals that they normally have. Can't remember. Okay. But he's a headliner, and under his name, there's a list of over 15 prominent nowadays superstars. From the Cardi B's to the Megan Thee Stallions to the Shenzias. Yeah. So apparently...
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, apparently his thing is pretty popular, pretty big. It's all stemmed off of his documentary that's airing now. So...
Oh, Genius.
Yeah, Genius.
I thought that name was actually... Genius.
Yeah, we as much as we want.
That's it. The marketing is usually on point.
We always, as much as he does everything in his power for us to hate him, he does this one thing to make us be like, "Oh wow, guy."
I wish I thought of that.
Yeah, he always
I don't
does
know
that.
If he tries to make us hate him, no, or if that's just how his brain works.
Maybe
but
it is.
Whatever it is. When it comes out looking like a genius, I'm like, wow, okay. Well, that's neat.
What I can say for him though, just to talk on this real quick, is I respect him and Kudi. That's the guy who dropped his job and dropped his life to follow him. I respect their dedication. Why I'm saying that, it is not easy to hold on to the stuff he held on for over 15 years. He had footage, he's being airing footage that any other artist in his position would have already put out. The man had a footage in episode 2 of him at 6 in a polka dot shirt freestyling a rap about him in his polka dot shirt and how he will be the greatest rapper of all time at 6. Because his father was fascinated with a camcorder. His father just bought his Betamax camcorder, so he was fascinated with the fact that his father bought his camera, so he took every opportunity to be on camera. That is why he started the documentary. When he first made his first set of money, he asked somebody, just follow me, because he feels as though if you film me, I will be a star. So he had the intuition to know that me being in front of a camera all the time will automatically make me larger than I actually am. So he even spoke about how him doing reality was long before the ex-wife was doing reality. He was doing it before he actually have footage of begging Jay-Z to listen to him, begging record labels to hear his beats. He have it from the beginning. That is why it's such an amazing documentary. And I could understand
really
why he sat in it.
To be honest, I don't follow Kanye because every time I see something, it's a little bit disturbing, And
most of the stuff
my disappointment with him really came with the fact that he, in my opinion, and people could correct me if I'm wrong on this, that he was allowed to drop out of college. That was very disappointing to me because I don't see how your mom as a professor, and I want to say would allow.
And
they had mental note.
And they spoke, all that is in the documentary. And when you see their interaction in the documentary, you automatically understand where his depression and his breakdown came from. His mother.
Right. So I might
his mother.
This is the Genius documentary? Okay.
His mom. Because remember, he took ownership he felt responsible for his mom passing.
For her death, yes.
Right? That's one. 2, people never understood the relationship until they started seeing the documentary because they have it. She wasn't just a mother. She was the ideal mother, fan, and she understood. Like, she was the one telling him, listen, you are going to be great. And she encouraged him to follow because he didn't want to drop out. That's why he named his first breakthrough album College Dropout. And he did what he said he was going to do and nobody believed. He had the most nominees. Remember, he has the most Grammys in hip hop, There's a lot of accolades he after his name that he don't speak
so,
on.
okay.
So it's plenty. We can't
No,
stop to talk about him now.
I do think that he is talented, but I was a little disappointed. So maybe I need to check my barometer that I'm using to measure.
No. You as a I wouldn't say educator, but you as a intellectual would be disappointed knowing and hearing that he has so much potential. I'm sure his professors were disappointed as well. But we also have to do that, as you say, your measuring stick, you have to be careful in using it because it wasn't just him, it was him as a single, his mom as a single parent. When his father disappeared and wanting to love him the way she feels she had to love and support her son. And seeing the potential that he had, she felt as though if she had distracted him from it, she would have been preventing him from greatness. So now fast forward to the Kanye we know now. If his mom was alive, you think anybody could come to her to say, oh, we disappointed that you didn't send your child to college, and she could then answer in the new world saying, okay, he dropped out of college, but what he has done, he's opening schools. You forget he's now opening his own faculty, his own university. So it's a different conversation if you really want to look at it that way. But I get what you're saying, and you're correct in your opinion. But the love she had for her child, and when you see it on camera, it was different, but it was really mind-blowing. It really made people look at him differently. From the first episode, you will automatically look at it like, wow. From the time you see their interaction, you knew that her passing away really break him.
It would have affected him.
It had nothing. Nobody could tell him right now. I don't think he'd have enough therapy to bring him back from losing his mother. Because, listen, their relationship was amazing. It's how she used to know all his raps. She was rapping exactly like how she actually... These songs that he broke through with, she was the one singing it back to him. Do you remember when he was singing this when he was like 11? And she'd rap it to him. And you'd be like, oh, wait, mommy, you remember that? And that's how that. So she was his muse. He used her energy to go in studio and create. And then in him creating, he did things.
That would leave a void.
And he did things in his time that just wasn't, I guess it wasn't ready. People wasn't ready for. Anyway, so we here now, we talking, not Kanye.
Well, before we get into that one, there is one that I saw today, and it's coming up on April 9th. Well, it starts on April 9th, and that's the Basquiat exhibition in New York.
Wow.
So,
that's one I will have to take in.
I need to tell you that.
Yeah, that's one because he's somebody who I read upon and was fascinated about. Humble beginnings, Haitian boy, a graffiti artist in New York. And to see now how his name and his paintings are always used. I watched a show just recently, and they were doing a little parody about something, and they were talking about it was actually Equalizer with how you call her,
Queen Latifah.
And in the trailer, you were seeing they were doing like a heist, and she had Jada Pinkett made a guest appearance. And she was there as a thief, and remember they have the history of the girls when they were
the movie.
So they basically used that as a little thing to sell the trailer. And in these little snippets of the trailer, she was like, hey, hold on, I can't leave without the Basquiat, and she ran back to take a painting. So little things like that is amazing to see how people respect him. It adds value because a Basquiat in the art world is a piece that any major art collector wants to have his hands on.
Yeah, of course.
Last piece was sold for 160 million, so that says volumes. So
it does. Right. Well, I mean, that's a good segue into what I wanted to talk about, because someone asked me to talk about the fact that President Biden has picked a Black nominee for the new Supreme Court justice. Not just a Black nominee, but a Black woman. And that was exciting because, we get to see ourselves on TV and sitting in the highest court of the land and so on. And what she asked me was, how do you think that actually helps to shape characters? And what do you think it does for our identity? And, so I started looking at it, and I actually thought that the fact that we're talking about picking the first Black woman Supreme Court justice in 2022 is a problem. We have had only 2 before, but they were both men. And so, there are little things, but then I thought about the fact that many of these appointments actually come because things have to appear cool, so people may be doing them for cool points, because if America was built on diversity and inclusion, why only now, we're looking to get diverse in the Supreme Court,
All
so
these years
some things
later.
so some things are deliberate, and we have to understand when they are. But then what I wanted to point out is when you're given the opportunity to sit in a seat that is so high up, or to stand on a platform that is high up, whatever, once you're elevated, then there's a lot that is expected from you. There's a lot that you have to give, and you have to ensure that your shoulders are broad enough to walk that path and understand that people are looking at you. So little girls, like I have a whole set of little nieces, they need to understand, oh, wow, so if I want to be a Supreme Court justice, then I should be able to do it. And in 2022, the fact that we're still talking about shattering glass ceilings, that's still a problem, So in terms of character traits and things that we need to build, if we start with children when they are, this high, then they would understand that there really is no mountain too high, and no glass ceiling, so to speak, because if their understanding of the world is, well, I can do anything that I set my mind to, and they grow up now seeing, Elon Musk building a rocket in his backyard or a spaceship in his backyard, and then launching it, then we understand that, okay, maybe we have taken the limits of our minds, and so we ought to be able to get past sort of the color limits and, the gender limits that still exist in the workplace. So that the character traits and identity is what, I really wanted us to just spend a little bit of time on and sort of look at what are some of the character traits that we are inculcating in our children now. What are children being told? What are they being taught? What are some of the things that they are playing with? I mean, and you would probably know that from a first-hand basis, So one of the things that I did write here is that, actions speak louder than words. And it's very true when it comes to character, because how people act and the things that children are shown would be, because you could tell people things, but then what you show them is usually what they emulate. And children are sponges, So if we're able to show them some of the better things in terms of characteristics, then that helps us in society where we elevate people and people are saying, oh, but I have those same qualifications. Oh, in 5 years, I could also have a job like that, so that I think becomes important.
Also, like, I think I am experimenting in real time in terms of what we're speaking on, because of my two kids. I had an opportunity to try one version with Risa, and I'm seeing how that turned out. So I'm trying a different version with Miliana, and the two are two separate individuals, children, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like Miliana is a child at 8. She operates as an 8-year-old. If I do comparisons, when Risa was 8, Risa was fully well adapted and grown, and that was because of what I exposed her to. Risa was a child that was constantly with me, and what you're saying is correct. She was the sponge that was feeding off of the things I do, how I operate, how I function. She was with me all the time. I'm talking about on every video shoot, on every recording, every television shoot, everything. So she was exposed to language and energies, and so she understood, she articulated herself way better because she was in view of so many people and sucking from everywhere. So she would be around television presenters, artists, musicians, this one, that one. So she would just get from everywhere. So she operates in a place of thinking that her brain has so much information. Miliana now, who was sheltered, not exposed because of illness or whatever, operates in a space of the things she enjoy are children-like things. Like she's not excited for anything grown. She's into heavy playing home, and she's not into wanting to be out, wanting to be around people, wanting to have friends, and she's just very contented in having the stuff that she haven't been a homebody. You understand? So as I said, it's experiment in real time as to how you can then, and it's my responsibility to just try and mold, but create balanced individuals. in the both sections.
And that is good, because one of the things I wrote here is character traits have to do with your underlying values and beliefs. So you are raising her based on some of the things that you believe and your values.
Correct.
You know, so that is important too. So again, you know, sometimes we ask people, like this morning I actually heard Abby saying, you know, when we go places, people will think that we were dragged up, you know, and like, yeah, it depends on the company that you find yourself in. And then, you know, sometimes you have to ask people, my goodness, were you raised with wolves? You know, because of how people behave.
Correct.
So those things actually, character would actually come through based on the situation that you're in and based on your socialization.
And I still, and sorry, but I still strongly believe as much as we try to adapt to Generation Z and all of this, is there something, some fundamental things just can't change. Like I believe there's a right and there's a wrong, regardless of how you want to swing it and spin it, and that is such a disappointing thing for me. It breaks my heart when I hear the new generation actors do their version of what is a wrong thing is right.
Right. Yeah.
It's so crazy how they justify wrongdoing with pretty words and nice memes, and they make it comfortable. They convince themselves that it is not bad. This is just how it is, and you should not judge me for it. But it's not a matter of judgment, it's just a matter of understanding. And
right.
It's a matter of understanding, and you said it correctly. From your parents, they're the ones who guide and kind of lay that foundation. So if they didn't do a good job and you end up at that point, because it's going to show. It's going to show as much as, and it's sad because I know a lot of parents who just give up. And they like, I could raise a child, but I can't raise a mind, and they just throw their hands in the air and say, well, whatever, I did my best.
You know, they say that in St. Lucia too, because I remember Lady Lynn, this Calypsonian, she had a song that said, you make the child not a mind. And it always bothered me, because I'm like, but hold on, mommy used to beat you talking about make child and not make mine. How?
That was something that the generation that got fed up and couldn't find a solution, that was the cop-out. I make the child under the mind. That's to appease themselves, to say it's not your fault.
No,
so don't take blame. Don't take blame for your child, because yes, there are mental issues that can happen with a human being, could cause them to do things that are uncommon, like a schizophrenic or somebody, a psychopath. But you say, well, okay, you made a child, they developed, you didn't turn the child into a psychopath. That was a mental thing.
But if society has these rules and mores that they need to be working with, then they could quickly get in line, you know? And sometimes we just overstep those boundaries and allow people to do things, and then we end up in a situation with crime that is uncontrollable. And that
right there is a breakdown of understanding of what love is. Some people take love to mean you see a child doing something wrong and you think you leave them because of love.
And actually, being loving is one of the character traits I had. I wrote a couple of them down. So I had the children. People could be raised to be religious, honest, loyal, devoted, loving, kind, sincere, ambitious, satisfied, happy, faithful, determined, adventurous, etc. But all of those things, those are things that you can inculcate into people through habits and being examples of those things, so that they're able to see them and figure out, well, you know, maybe I want to do that, you know. And there are cases where if you allow children to get into different organizations and so on, if you didn't do it at home, they still have the ability to learn those things, and it's because you allowed it, you know. So they things that could be trained. And
that's how some people, some scholars came from a house with no scholars. It's because their parents encouraged them to go down a road with scholars.
Absolutely.
So you can find that you might not be born a scholar and your child earned out one. And it wasn't genetic, it was because you had the know-how and the awareness to know that, listen, if I encourage, and the foresight, if I encourage my child in this could be the outcome. And the child gravitated to it because of the encouragement. And all the other characteristics you listed out, love and all of these other things. And once you instill that, they then kind of just go to that. But if you have a don't care or an attitude of, my parents didn't do this to me, so I don't think I have to do it for you, and I turned out fine. You understand? Which is what our West Indian people love to do. Well, I didn't have this when I was growing up, so you went dead. It doesn't mean your child shouldn't have it. You understand?
Yeah, exactly.
And then when you now try to give it, somebody butts in or come in to say you're spoiling the child and da 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 da. And I have a real problem with that. It's not so much a spoiling, it's having, you two have to be self-aware enough to know what is too much. Because you can't place yourself in a position for you to do wrong for your child's happiness. Because that is also teaching them something wrong from the beginning. Like if you're stealing and pillaging to give your child something, it's never going to work out fine. But if your child sees hard work and love and sacrifice for them to enjoy something, they will appreciate the sacrifice. And when they get older, they will understand, okay, these are the sacrifices my parents made for me. I'm in a better position because of it. So I am going to try and give of my offspring a better way of living so that they wouldn't have to see as I saw.
Right, exactly.
And it clear in their mind. You understand what I'm saying? So, and again, as we started to talk about the unlearn, there's so much things. And just like that, we come to the end because we are so amazing. And I know you all are saying, oh, good, how this finished so quick? That's just how good we are. All right, but have no fear. We're going to be back next week with more for you guys.
Indeed.
All right? So, Frank side, we send you out dancing. We gone.